Kyalami once again plays host to the South African Premier Racing category. Welcome to round one of the Bridgestone production cars.
This is the RSC race day. Proudly brought to you by Fast Orange Hand Cleaner. On the show, action from the opening round of the Super Series, picking up on the Bridgestone production cars, Class A's and T.
For more information on the race series, log in to www.sbcc.co.za.
Some rulings and breakdowns for the 2013 season, picking up on the Class A cars. They have no limit to the engine capacity. They can run either 2- or 4-wheel drive, and the engines can be normally aspirated, supercharged, or turbocharged. In the Class T's, cars are limited to an engine capacity of 2 litres. These cars are only allowed to run a 2-wheel drive system and are supercharged or turbocharged.
Time to update you on the drivers and teams for the 2013 season. Beginning with the Engine Extreme Audi S4 and double reigning champion for Class A, Michael Stephen. Along with his talented, charismatic teammate Chop Sapuka, this is the team to watch this year. Michael Stephen and team boss Terry Moss are fighting to win a hat-trick of championships. And one for the history books. Gennaro Bonifidi is back, having joined Class A from Class T near the end of the 2012 season. The Italian youngster clinched his first win in the Ferrota Racing Audi S4 at the final race of last season here at Kyalami. He dominated the race in dramatic conditions, giving us a glimpse of his talent and resolve. Melville Priest returned to the Audi stable at the beginning of 2012 in his brand new Mueller Sports Medicine Audi S4. Declaring last season as a development year, Melville's team, headed by Vic Maharaj, have come with full guns blazing with one objective: the #1 plate at the end of the season. Runner-up in the 2012 championship is Henny Groenewald and his teammate Richard Pinard, who this weekend, along with the big man himself, Karl Pinard, lifted the covers off their 2 brand new Sassel Subaru WRX STIs. And may I say, these new race cars are beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, Team Afrog's BMW returned with their 2 F30 335i BMWs. This year sees the departure of Anthony Taylor. His presence on the grid will be missed. We surely wish him well. Taylor's seat will be filled by equally profound Johan Fourie, who teams up with good friend Etienne van der Linde, himself a national and international champion. Team principal Donovan van Heerden believes that Team Afrog's BMW has what it takes to win the championship in 2013. To do this, they will need to stay ahead of the 4 Audis and the 2 new Subarus, which feature quattro and all-wheel drive respectively. News at Bridgestone production cars that some new entrants later in the season will certainly ruffle some feathers. The Class T field offers just as much action. Graham Nathan, otherwise known as the Big Show, promises to live up to his name in 2013. Long-term VW partner, he and his Golf 6 GTI are always consistent and hardly ever miss a beat. On the track, he is unbearable with his constant pressure. But don't let that fool you. He is one of the great characters of motorsport. He is partnered by the young Stiglet, Jacques Joubert, who is also armed with some new machinery in his Golf 6 GTI. This upgrade gives the young lad the confidence to compete at the front. 2011 champion Gary Formato knows only one way, and that's to be on the top step of the podium. His gaze is fixed on the silverware for 2013, and consistency is going to be his ever-powerful strong point. Mostly in the top 3 of any race. Don't make any mistakes, he will run away from you. Sean Duminy is a vital member to the Ford team. His strength as Gary's wingman hasn't stopped him from taking the checkered flag every chance he gets. The Ford team will have some new firepower in Cape Town, with the two brand new Ford Focus STs making their debut. And I can already hear shivering in some boots. Team Castrol Mini will definitely not be playing second fiddle. Gavin Cronje will pilot one of the firecrackers with cheeky attitude, as he did at the last round of the 2012 season. In the wet, he and his teammate Lee Thompson showed up some of the Class A cars, and this being the first full season for the Minis, VW and Ford should be worried. Thompson was one of the fastest drivers in Friday's practice, so keep your eyes on him. Cue the Chevrolet Cruze. Michael van Rooyen has spoken to us in the back rooms and believes that this year it could be his season. His strategy is to be consistent and bag points. But headed into the third round, plans from the Williams Hunt Chevrolet team are to introduce the new OPC engine, already in the workshop and being developed into a missile to debut in Port Elizabeth. Devon Robinson will dedicate the entire season to his big boss Auto Renault, leaving his entry in the Engine VW Cup behind, and if his race history is anything to go by, the front of the pack is where he will be. Last on the list is the young Kelvin van der Linde, who will be racing overseas this year. This one-off ride might throw the cat amongst the pigeons, and though this youngster might not be old enough to drive on the roads yet, nothing can stand in his way. He has racing in his blood. Well, that's our lineup for the 2013 Bridgestone production cars. Let the race for the championship begin.
This is what it looked like coming out of qualifying for the Class A's. Reigning champion Michael Stephen heads up the row alongside Johan Fourie, Dennis Etienne van der Linde and Melville Priest.
Next row, Henny Grunewald in a Subaru alongside Chop Sabuka. Gennaro Bonafide in the other S4, and then Richard Pittard in the Subaru.
A little bit further back and heading up Class T, the Mini of Lee Thompson alongside Graham Nathan. The new kid on the block, Kelvin van der Linde, and Gavin Cronje in the second of the Minis.
Then Michael van Rooyen hoping for a good 2013. Then Jacques Joubert, Gary Formato, Sean Duminy, both the Fords here.
Further back of the pack, still developing the Renault, it's Devon Robinson.
So unusual for qualifying this time around, because qualifying on a Friday, then we go straight into the Super Bowl, so it's the top three in each class, Matt.
Very exciting, and these guys have to go out. One warm-up lap, one sprinter, one lap to make it count.
Anything can go wrong, making sure that they've got to get heat into those tires, otherwise we're looking for problems like this.
Etienne van der Linde in the wall on his flying lap, and that is one very tired BMW early in the season.
And that's a worried team too. He wasn't the only one, because in Class T, there was lots of problems for the Castrol Mini as well. Ambient heat all around, and of course, the Indy Golfs are here, the GTI 6s.
Yeah, they seem to have done a lot of development in the off-season to deliver a good package. But the surprise package in Super Bowl was Kelvin van der Linde, straight to the top.
The team has spoken about the synergy of having you in the team, and you must be delighted to be replacing Anthony Taylor and be part of this really big team for BMW.
Yeah, no, I'm over the moon. I've been counting the day since last year November, since they announced that I'm driving the car. Was really looking forward to it, so I'm thankful for BMW, for Afrox and for Team ADF for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, so like you said, it's a bit unfortunate about Etienne putting a wheel off in turn one. Hopefully they can put him in another car just to get some points for the team and for himself. And then hopefully they can fix the car towards the next races. But yeah, then the Super Bowl is something different for us. Getting a one-lap warm-up and then straight away go for flyer. I thought we had something a little bit extra that we can push, but unfortunately I had a little bit of understeer in the first half of the lap. And then once the tires seemed to get some heat, the car was much better. So hopefully we can definitely challenge Michael, will be up there and fighting for the lead and put on a big show. But I really want to be able to walk away with a win today. So I'm going to give it my all and see if we can come home for a win for BMW.
A new entry and a debut season for a youngster in the name of Kelvin van der Linde. And man, oh man, have you raised some eyebrows, Kelvin. Absolutely brilliant. You've pipped Graham Nathan and you've managed Super Pole. You must be delighted.
Yeah, I mean, it was the least that I expected. To even, qualify top three yesterday was already a big feat. And to get pole today, I mean, couldn't ask for much more. And it's all down to the team that have put in a great job. I mean, we've only been out in the car twice now, and we're already on pole. So it's a great effort by the team, and I'm very happy.
Standing here with the reigning champion, Graham Nathan of the Indyworld Golf 6. And surprising, though, that a youngster came out and chowed your backside here in Super Pole. That one must have been surprising. It was for us.
Yeah, it was definitely a big surprise, but he's obviously done a really good job of that motor car, and so's his dad. So all credit to them. Well done. Gives us something to race for.
First race of the day, the first of the sprint races, 6 laps from a standing start, and it's obvious that the all-wheel drive systems have it off the line. It's going to be up to the BMWs to work on race pace, but definitely off the line. It is Audi, Subaru, Audi, and then we go back to the first of the BMWs.
Yeah, well, of course, they brought a big team and are expecting a lot for 2013. And, well, that standing start, as you say, rear-wheel drive, and they're kind of going, oh, no, not again. Here we go. But they'll be in the mix, there's no doubt about it. Professional drivers in Johan Free, Eddie van der Linde, no longer there with the original F30 car, but they've been allowed to bring in the Pertec BMW, so he's still in the mix.
And watch out for a different shape coming out of the Subarus as well. Wide body 4-door with a boot and a wing as well, so it's a different shape. It was a more compact car. Then we go back and we're picking up on the Class T action. Gavin Cornier just chasing down on a freight train of Golf GTIs.
Yeah, they're looking for a very good start to this season. They only came in halfway through Pekisa last year. They really raised some eyebrows with regard to that, so we'll keep an eye on them in this race. Right now to the top of the A train right now. BMW still in there, but Michael Stevens way up front. Here's a great shot from Chop Sabuka.
Yeah, we call this the shark attack shot. Here we go, Chop's covering that line up the inside. These are turns 9 and 10, what used to be known as West Bank Corner. But watch around the outside. There was a car trying to get the line up and trying to get the big drive down the hill. And that is the BMW. You're going to start seeing the power kick in. As soon as the front tires heat up, now we're going to see the moves.
Absolutely, and of course, getting into the bowl right now, you really have to get hard on the brakes. Now, that's the danger on lap number 1. Enough heat in the tires, got to be careful.
There's the understeer. That's what we were talking about. Marie has been complaining about that. He says round about lap 3 or 4, he can do whatever he likes, but the early laps, while the tires are still a little bit cold, he'll be pushing the front end out. We should see that start to rein itself back in around about lap 3-4.
Well, speaking of rain, and of course that would suit Gennaro Bonafide because he really did come to the party in 2012, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that this year right now for race number 1. Back on board, Gennaro Bonafide, the man we were talking about, and he's got a lot to do right now.
Yeah, this has all been set up by a pro qualifier. Then we go back to the Class Ts. Now let's remind ourselves, Steve, first of 3 heats, 2 6-lappers, which are sprint races, and then the showstopper, 12 laps. We're going to see completely different dynamics coming out at the end of the day. Right now, it's all about flat-out speed, and I think Calvin van der Linde has got a very good chance to hang on for those 6 laps.
Well, of course, but also we don't know the kind of work that they put in behind the scenes of that car. We do know that these 2 6-lappers do take strain on both driver and car.
What we need to watch out for as well is look at Henny Groenewald. He's trying to make the move, and he has to make that move. If you're following a car this close and this closely matched, your car doesn't get the clean air, doesn't get the cool air, and starts to run a little bit hot.
Mueller Sports Medicine, Melville Priest, of course, he was a former team member of Team Afrox BMW. They've changed up the game, and the man that we're missing, and we heard it earlier on, Anthony Taylor, has gone on to greener pastures. I get the feeling that the series would be a little poorer without him. He was a great character and a fantastic driver. But Ferrari, he's really, really good.
Yeah, it's going to be exceptional to see Ferrari, who has historically been an Audi man, so he's had to turn his style around completely to start driving the rear-wheel drive. But of course, he comes out of V8s, so he's used to hanging the back end out. Nathan can hang the back end out as we go on board with him, but he hangs it out on a front-wheel drive, and he is building the pace. It's coming.
Well, certainly he's going to be teaching his younger, the Stigley, Jacques Joubert, who's also in new machinery this year in Class T, also coming to the party in a Golf GTI 6. We're on board with the, what do they call him, the Big Show or Nate Dogg?
Yeah, he's just a big man behind the wheel, and he went for the big cut back there. Formato just left the door wide open there. He just seems to get a bad line coming out of the bowl, and that's Nathan up the inside through treacherous turns 13. Now you're going to see some ponies, because that car, certainly in a straight line, is faster than the old Ford.
Well, speaking about straight line speed, the Subarus, now it's a new shape, new livery on that car. They were complaining that their DNA on a straight line speed was slower than anybody else in the field.
Look at this. We've got the BMW starting to hang things out, and that's Ferrari. Made a big mistake, and that was Gennaro Bonafide. Just got caught up with that. He was stuck at the back of the pack, set up by a poor qualifier, and he just got caught up there. Inside, outside, he had to make the choice, and it was the long way round.
After turn 3, he's probably thinking, what, really? Second lap? Really?
Yeah, that's not what he needed at all. We go on board with him. He's actually rolled out of that, and that's why the back end of his car has started spinning around. He had no choice than to go all the way around the long way, and that, well, we know there's been some big problems in turn number 2. That could have been a lot worse.
All right, yellow flags and safety car out at the moment, and this is going to cause problems, but it will help some of the cars, the front leaders, because it will cool down those engines and the turbos, which they, certainly need to at this stage of the game. We've heard them talk about that last year. Well, safety car always throws a little bit of a gamble into the mix.
Ferrari must have had a bigger problem than we thought as well, because he limps off the track. That's going to get us back into racing, but it's going to take a lot of points away from Ferrari. And look how close it is. This is the story of the restart. And one of the kings of the restart is the man in third place, the danger man, Groenewald. He is so good at predicting this light.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you know what? Does he have the car set up? I mean, they've been having a lot of problems just last year with that, with cavitation and all sorts of things. Green flag, we go. We're back to racing. Stevens in the lead. And, of course, right now, Melville Priest is under a lot of threat from the man you were talking about, Henry Groenewald. Will he get him on the inside?
He's definitely got the wheel up the inside there, and he set that up by being oh so close. He literally had to roll across the line an inch behind Melville Priest. And because he was up the inside, he set up the long pass, and he has moved himself now into second place. But Michael Stephen is gone.
Well, quite personally, I think you nailed it on the head there, watching Groenewald do what he does best. He is a stalker of note. So, Stephen leading the charge right now. Look at Etienne van der Linde. Brilliant move on Melville Priest. He didn't see him coming. He's in this Pertec BMW. We're on board right now with Gennaro Bonafide.
And he's got problems, Steve. When he went off into the gravel trap, he has picked up a tyre puncher. So that's why he's cruising around. And the entire Class T field is kind of come around him. He's going to do very well if he can just stay out on track and get some kind of points, but a terrible start to the Ferraro man.
Nice thing about this race control is that we've got 2 6-lappers, so if anything goes with the driver or the car, at least you can still be in this race and pick up points on the next race.
A massive surprise package is the man we're looking at the back end of, and that, sorry, I thought that was actually the BMW of Etienne van der Linde. He's even further up the road. Etienne van der Linde is a massive result, completely totaling his 2013 race car. He steps into the old shape car, and he's getting up there, and he's got a chance for a podium.
The problem with that car is, and as they had all of 2012, it's you have to drive this car in a predictive kind of style. In fact, when you think you should be turning, you shouldn't be, but then you've got to turn, and it really, Johan Free had a chance to drive it. It's a nightmare, very twitchy.
So the old school E90 is still out there representing and getting stalked by Priest. Now we go back, and there's a little bit of a gap, and there was a huge gap before the restart. Now it's kind of closed up a little bit, but the second of the Fords is getting stalked by the second of the GTIs in the Indy Oil colours.
Yeah, I'm looking further back at Class T and wondering whether Lee Thompson or was that Gavin Cronier. Hard to tell from this distance. They look a little off the pace at the moment, but one of them's leading so far. Look at this, through line of stern, brilliant driving. Chops Sabuka on the move.
Yeah, Chops is looking tasty, and he likes to get aggressive. If he's got a car length to close up, he will be able to do it. Insane on the brakes. And just to confirm, Steve, that is Gavin Cronier leading the Class Ts. It's Thompson that's got a problem. He was so fast in qualifying, and he's having a problem in the race.
Well spotted. All right, on board with Graham Nathan right now. That Golf 6 chasing down Calvin van der Linde. Wow, what a surprise package this boy. Every single race category he's been in, he has shone a big light.
And look at Nathan. He's carrying a lot of speed there, and both of those drivers going slightly offline. Nathan really trying to get the exit speed and try and go for the cutback, the big move up the inside of Clubhouse as we go to the top of the hill once again, and there are gaps showing. Groenewald got that second place move off the restart, but he has not been able to bridge the gap across to Michael Stephen, who is controlling this race admirably.
I've got to tell you, Matt, I'm really impressed with the way van der Linde is actually getting this Pertec BMW around this track. Really impressed. I know how difficult it is to drive that car. Again, we're on board. Class T. Here's Graham Nathan.
Nathan on the brakes, late as you like, and he is going to be following the kid the whole way through. Do you notice how the Golfs actually close up on the Mini? And at the bottom here, Graham is really going to be able to unleash the power. As we said, on the clocks and on the books, in the straight line, his car is the fastest, and down the hill is where you can unleash it.
Have you also noticed in Class T the way that there are 2 different lines, one for the Fords and one for the GTIs? I don't think that the setup for the Fords is the correct way at the moment, and maybe they are battling, which is why they're a little off the pace.
Early season, you've got to do what you got to do. Van der Linde just mounting the curb there through turn number 13. He is getting on the gas on that E90, and he is doing an incredible job. But Priest is all over him. We are running out of laps. In fact, the flag is right there. Stephen takes a 1-second victory as we go back to pick up on the winner of the Class Ts, and Cronier will be super happy with this.
Van der Linde will grab another podium position right now for the first debut of this season. Look at Nate Dogg coming on the inside. He won't get him.
That was tight, but our reigning champion in the Class A's salutes the crowd, and that was a great 6-lap sprint to kick things off. Mini, the Castrol Mini, takes the flag for first blood in 2013.
Let's have those confirmed race results right now. Class A, Michael Stephen, Kenny Grunewald in second, Etienne van der Linde, Melville Priest.
Then we go on to the Class T's, all about the Minis, getting it good. First off the line, Calvin van der Linde, a good showing early on to beat out Nathan Famoto and Dumini.
Michael Stephen, 13 from 13. That bodes well for the day.
Yeah, certainly a good start to the year. As you mentioned earlier, Super Pole, went according to plan. And we've taken that now and converted into race win. So a perfect start to the year.
You didn't look like you were in any trouble out there. The car looked absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, the car's really been fantastic the whole weekend. We pretty much came with the same setup that we left last year with, and maybe tweaked here and there. Can't fault it at all. It's absolutely handling brilliantly, and hopefully it stays that way the rest of the day.
Standing with the winner of Class T with all the battle scars and looking hot and bothered, but the result still remains the same. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, yesterday I was quick and I was working on my endurance, which doesn't always give you outright speed, and it's so far proved itself. We were running a bit warm, but sitting in a tow, you can't expect anything else from the car. Coming from fourth to first, I can't ask for more, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, were you surprised to actually get through the field as quickly as you did?
I got a really good start, so that jumped 2 guys immediately, and then I was behind Calvin. And Calvin's strong in certain sections of the circuit, and in certain sections of the circuit, I'm stronger. I managed to jump him on the restart after the safety car, so I guess that comes with a bit of experience, and fantastic job to him. I mean, you couldn't ask for more for his first race.
So as normal, the racing, and this time it's a new format, but wait for it. We get a draw, but not with bubbles. We get them with numbers, and there it is. A 6-car inverted grid mat.
It's too early to say this in the season, but I've got to roll it out. From hero to zero, back of the pack.
Did he really show a 9?
It was a 6. It was definitely a 6. But it's going to change up the format as well. It's going to mean some of the faster drivers are starting at the back and having to race their way through to the front. And still, once again, with only 6 laps to make it happen.
I like the fact that we're not actually drawing numbers you can see, but you can actually just have to pull it out of a brown envelope. I think the secrecy, well, I think it's fair.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a new format. It's going to be very exciting for the guys. What they will know, what is unknown, is how to set their cars up now for the sprint race. A couple of the cars had big problems. Bonafide and Ferrari, particularly. In the Class T's, there wasn't really any cracks in the armor, so everyone just knows they have to go out there and drop the hammer.
All right, so 6 cars inverted grid. It brings everybody into the mix, but it's a standing start in Chops against a really good move off the line. Who was failing in that one?
That was Pinard. Pinard was absolutely terrible coming off the lights there, so he's going to have to do some huge work.
Wow, what a disadvantage for him. I mean, he had it all to do. He was on the front row.
Yeah, all turned around, and that's the story about the second grid. You don't know who's going to be on the front. A lot of drivers are exceptional at the rolling start, but dropping the clutch and getting off the line is something you have to learn with a lot of experience.
Well, my goodness, no false start as well for Sabuka. And one thing I can tell you about this man, if he gets a sniff in the front, he's very difficult to get a hold on.
Yeah, Chops is going to be aggressive. I mean, he loves coming through the pack. He's a born racer. But when you give him a clear track, he can just focus and get himself out there and turn those clean laps. Once you've got clear air, you've got the entire track to play with. And if he gives himself maybe a car and a half length over the field, then he can just settle himself into the groove.
All right, out of Clubman's and into the first of the S's. I love this part of the racetrack, and what great camera work as well. See those cars smooth sliding left to right as they now head up towards the shelf in a very interesting 3-point apex.
This is my favorite shot on the track, to be honest. They come over, you can see the braking marker where they go light. We're on board with Graham Nathan. We're going to see them go light here, and the Mini, the lightest car out there, it is extremely late on the brakes, but it's a little bit twitchy, and the back end starts to hang out there. You can see the drive was not in the hands of the Mini, and the big man just drops it down the hill, and already he has pulled 2.5 car lengths out of everyone as we see a little wastegate. One of the problems on the Mini, Gavin Cornier, race 1 winner, and the Mini has cried no more in Heat 2.
Well, here we go, some problems for Cronier. So there you've nailed it on the head again.
And then Thompson as well goes off in sympathy for his teammates. So the Minis, although Thompson didn't have a great Heat 1, he's having a terrible Heat number 2. And Cronier this time looks like he's going to be pulling into the pits.
Sympathy? I would have called that bad luck. So go with our race leader, Class A, Chopsapurka, still leading out the Subaru of Henny Grunewald. And it is going to be a lot of pressure for the next 4 laps.
It is going to be all about this, but I'm just so impressed with Etienne van der Linde stepping into the old machine, which he hasn't been in for months on end, and is still out there representing. He's going to be on for a top 5. He is running in 5th place at the moment, and the straight line speed of that car is running very, very good. Now, the track temperature has gone up, which means the BMW is going to have a little bit more grip than it did have early in the morning, which means it can stay with the handling characteristics of the all-wheel drive cars that run in front of it.
It'll be interesting to see how the Subarus perform, particularly today, because it will be a benchmark as they move to Cape Town. We're talking about Highveld altitude and Cape Town altitude. We do know that the S4s really, particularly in Melville Priest, do well down in Cape Town.
Yes, it is going to be a killer drive down in Cape Town. Always the big cars run good down there, so it's going to be close racing the whole way through. As far as straight line speed goes, I think the Subarus are going to be something to watch out for down at the coastal circuits.
Well, they've never had that luxury before. They were always complaining about that, and everybody was raising their eyebrows, saying, you know what, you're just talking monkey business right now. But, you know, there's a fairer playing field. I think they look even better than last year's show.
On board with Graham Nathan, and talk about fairness, all cars across the board have had their boost dropped by 20%. So I think what we're going to see this year is much closer racing the whole way through. Every now and again, there are a couple of tracks where certain cars were just showing that their boost was bigger and they were capable of pulling away. This time, they're not going to have that advantage.
Well, you know, it's leveling the playing fields to a certain extent, Matt, and I agree with you, but it is going to be performance-based on the Cape Town or Port Elizabeth circuits, where they'll get a bit more power as they get down to the coastal circuits. But right now they're going to battle a little bit. The only problem with the boost pressure right now on altitude is that the cars have to work a little harder and you put more stress on them.
Fords are in a sandwich at the moment. Duminy running in 3rd place, and Joubert is leading things out. Joubert is actually starting to break away from the chasing pack. Look at Nathan. Nathan is frustrated. He's trying to get around the outside of Duminy, even putting a wheel on the dirt. So our fastest driver from the first heat, Graham Nathan, is just blocked at the moment. He's trying inside, outside. This is going to be a cutback. He's going to try and get the horsepower down and get the move up the inside of turn number 13. No, middle of the road for Duminy. So once again, Duminy, one of the hardest drivers to pass on the tour. But here we go. This is going to be big power and big brakes around the outside. No, you cannot go around the outside, so you go for the cutback once again. And it's just a driving technique showcase from Nathan.
Well, I call it OBR, outcome-based racing.
Here we go. Look at this. Duminy got a good drive. Duminy got an insanely good drive coming out of turn number 14, which is the final turn. But no, he is not going to be able to hang on. Now I'm excited to see with clear air what Graham Nathan can do. He moves himself up into 3rd place. He's got to chase things down now on Formato.
Yeah, I think that you'll see that gap will increase, Nathan and Duminy right now, but I am impressed with the fact that he's holding on for dear life right now. In the shorter version of racing, not much of a discrepancy, but the longer version. But anyway, let's get back to the front end of Class A, and still it's Chopsapurka. And I told you earlier on, Matt, once he gets a sniff out there, he's hard to pass. The only man who's really got any kind of move on him right now is Subaru, and Henny Grunewald needs to turn up the wick.
No real change. What is happening, though, we're going to see things tighten up in this 3rd place battle. Melville Priest is getting closed down by the tune of maybe 0.2 of a second per lap from Michael Stephen. Stephen has now found his pace. He's got the groove on, and he is getting pulled up to the bumper of 3rd place Priest.
Once again, the entire series on Bridgestone tyres, they've done a lot of development on those tyres as well, and they really have added a spice of life to the motor racing, particularly in Class A and T.
Stephen then is charging hard as we go back and pick up on the battle for 3rd place. Look at this. Nathan has made light work of getting away from Duminy. Now he tries to sweep around the outside of Formato. Once again, going for the inside-outside. Little lift of the throttle there. Cheeky move from Formato in the middle of the corner. Didn't allow Nathan to get on the gas when he wanted to.
Well, it won't fool Nathan anyway. I mean, we're talking about the normal protagonist. When you talk about Class T, it always seems to 2 names conjure up. Formato, Nathan, Nathan, Formato. Those 2 always keenly watched.
Steve, my crystal ball is working, but I didn't predict this one. That was a close-up. We saw Michael Stephen come right up on the bumper of Melville Priest, and Melville Priest's car let go on top revs there. You are full gas going into that turn, and unfortunately the man who was in 3rd goes all the way out the back door.
Yeah, I tell you, Andrew, his dad's not going to be happy. We really wanted to get off to a good run for the S4 Supercharged, and 4 of those running at the moment, and one slowing down considerably. That will be Bonafide.
Yeah, it's a shame to see him out there battling, but look at this for a war. These guys have been going at it for the last 3 or 4 years, and Nathan, he has got the fast car out there. He goes for the big charge around the outside. Now, you can make this pass count, but you're going to be out there hanging out to dry for a very long time. Drive all the way around the outside, stay on the outside, down the mine shaft, and this is a place only for the brave, because on the outside of this corner, it's a little bit greasy. You stay out there, and he's going to get the cutback inside the bowl. That is a very long way around.
Nice for the brave. I would say insanity prevails going into that. Really cut back there on this corner as well. It's a really difficult place to get in. So, continue this charge for the Golf GTI 6s. Are they going to be the force that everybody's thinking that they're going to be? I reckon they are.
Well, he's made mincemeat so far. Graham Nathan, I'm talking about, has made mincemeat of Dumini, and now that he's got in front of Formato, who is arguably the second best driver out there based on his number 2 in the championship last year, let's see if he's going to be able to hang on to the back wheel of Nathan, or whether the Fords are just going to be crying out in pain, because right now you can see it's lost. That has lost a lot of pace. No way you should have fallen off that far. So Formato has got a big problem.
Yeah, well, they haven't come with their new cars as was anticipated. So, you know, the psyche is probably a little bit negative as well. And that's kind of going, well, I've just been blitzed by Nathan again. And it's the same old story we must be going through. I can tell you right now, Formato is the consummate pro. He'll just go out there. He'll have fun. I mean, this is what racing should be about. It's fun and getting results.
Oh, Michael Stephen having all kinds of fun. I actually noticed with Chop Sapuka, as he flicked the lead car into the S's, he started to squirm around all over the place. So even though this is a sprint race, these tyres are still taking a huge strain, because they are getting out there and throwing qualifying lap times in every single time. The gaps are remaining between 1, 2 and 3, but look back at 4. It's still Etienne van der Linde. What a great day he's having.
Well, Matt, you know, obviously you mentioned a very key component of the motor racing, which is the tyres. And on a race weekend, Class A will only have 8 tyres to work with, and Class T will only have 6. So maybe Sapuka's decided this time around in the second race to go all brand new tyres and get the race win. Well, I think he's made the call. He's doing the business.
Definitely going to help you out. But look at what's happening out front in the Class Ts. We had a brief shot there of the 2 Indy Oil Golf GTIs, and Nathan was closing things down. Sapuka, he's maybe losing a little bit of drive coming out the corners, but it doesn't matter, because our second heat of the day is in the bag. We've done 12 laps, we've done 2 races, and it's Sapuka that has taken the win. Nathan, though, wants to go double on the day. He's trying to get out there and win everything at the first round in 2013, but it is going to be the Stiglet, Jacques Joubert, who takes his first flag of the year.
Yeah, well done, GTR Golfs, and well done, Chop Sapuka, Class A.
Incredibly close racing, and that sets us up for a great showstopper. We now move forward into the 12-lap main event.
Did the Castrol get a podium position there? Was it Cronier or was it Thompson out there?
We will pick that up when we go into the breakdown, but what I can tell you is there were much bigger gaps in this race.
All right, let's get confirmation. So, Chop Sapuka, well done. Henny Grunewald in second, Michael Stephen third, and well done, Etienne van der Linde in fourth.
In the Class Ts, the new Golf cleaning up at the top in race number 2. It was Joubert ahead of team boss Nathan, and Thompson gets a much improved third place.
Let's put it bluntly, you got the reverse grid, put you into pole position, and you did really well. Outstanding race. You must be delighted. On the backbone of where you were coming from in the 2012 season, you improved dramatically. A race win, what a way to start.
No, it's beautiful. You know, it's been a long time coming, but it's a bit of an emotional race today, because I've never really been able to win in this car, but I've always been able to win in the old car. But yeah, you know, thanks to the mechanics, thanks to the team. We were phenomenal yesterday, just before qualifying, and we've tried to maintain the setup we've had prior to qualifying, and it seemed to work well.
Once again, Jacques Joubert, you did the master this time. Well done.
Yes, it's been amazing. Luckily for me, I could pull away first, and then I just kept going at it with a new Volkswagen GTI 6, thanks to Volkswagen Motorsport. The season just started off with a bang, and I just proved that the 6 is the best car in the market, and I can't wait for the 7. But I just want to say big thanks to Indy Oil backing me again. Thanks for their support through the rookie year, and everybody else, the Car King, Earnville Trading, everybody, and especially my dad, and all my other friends and families that support me.
Coming up after the break, the big showstopper, the 12-lapper. Bridgestone production car racing action, proudly brought to you by Fast Orange Hand Cleaner.
Welcome back to World Class Racing. This is Bridgestone Production Cars, proudly brought to you by Fast Orange Hand Cleaner.
Now we move on to the big show. 12 laps. That's going to ask a lot of the drivers, a lot of the cars, and a lot of the Bridgestone tyres. And of course, we set up a different looking style of grid, Steve.
Also, what's key here as well as who saved their tyres for the best or who hasn't.
Grid position has been set up by the fastest lap thrown down by each driver in heat number 2. And that is going to put Chop Sapuka on pole position. That's a very nice place to be coming into the end of the day's racing.
Now, you can be enthusiastic and you can be enthusiastic. And Chops can be both of those.
He is incredible off the start. When he looks down into turn number 1 at Kyalami and sees nothing but air, he is going to get gone.
Now remember, Chops, he has to wait for the lights to go. We've seen him on a couple of occasions get too enthusiastic.
Very good point to make. The guys that we're looking at for a really strong overall are Chops, Michael Stephen, and watch out for Faree. He came back really strong in heat number 2, and he's got a chance to outlast the all-wheel drive cars in his BMW in the long race.
Well, also, let's not discount Melville Priest, because I reckon something's afoot there. Look, he's been looking pretty good, been a bit unlucky out there. Class T, very, very close battle as well, the 2 GTIs. Will Devin Robinson in the Megane come to the party? We'll wait and see. Yep. Right now, we're underway, and we're racing in our 12-lap theme piece.
And Priest is going to get the drop around the outside and cuts the nose of the Subaru. Had to come out of the gas ever so slightly to make that line happen, but he is going to be leading into the never-ending set of left-handers as we go on board with Cronia into the back of a very busy Class T.
Well, I don't think we've paid enough attention, you and me, Matt, because the big thing here, Chops was on pole. Look where he is now. What a terrible start.
Yeah, you sold him down the river. We were talking about how good he was going to be off the gate. He sits in 4th place, and to be honest, he has been left wanting because he is something like 3 car lengths off the back of his teammate Michael Stephen. So as we stand right now, Stephen is leading in the overalls as far as the day's racing goes.
Have we done the unthinkable and put the mockers on him?
Yeah.
Or have you put the mockers on him?
I think it might be me, but what I've also said about the man is that he is great when he's under pressure. He is incredible at coming from behind. The fear here is, because I've been talking about this 12-lap showstopper, the fear is he's going to get too aggressive in the early stages and melt that rubber.
All right, so we're back to racing, and Johan Free's back in the mix as well. We know Team Afrox BMW brought a big package team.
Understeer again, Steve, there. So that was a massive outbreaking maneuver from Johan Free that didn't quite work. And yeah, you're not going to try and drive around the outside of Chop Sapuka. Not today, my friend.
Well, that remains to be seen. And I'll tell you what, he might do it on the outside. Oh, look at that dust.
Yeah.
They put that down because there was oil on the track. That's why we got all this hazy cloud stuff.
Yeah, very scary. And the man who benefited from that was Michael Stephen. He got caught looking through the mist, and he actually made a way through around the outside of Henny Groenewald. And he made that move because he was way on the outside on the oil and the cement dust, and he still kept it buried. Made a very brave pass, but it was scary times.
Subaru, Henny Groenewald having a sniff on the outside of that BMW. Michael Stephen is there, ready to pounce, back in the field. We haven't spoken much about the Williams hunt and the crews of Michael Van Rooyen. He's had a torrid day in race 1 and 2. Will it be any better for race 3?
Yes, Chevrolet is doing a lot of development, and they say by rounds 2 and 3, they will have a faster package. Gavin Cronia just got the line around the Megane. Megane, unfortunately, went for the big dive into the final turn. Could not get the drive coming out of it, and he's gone to the back of the classroom once again.
What's your take on the Megane? I mean, do we know Devin Robinson can pedal a car? We know that. We know that there's probably in the next couple of races going to be another one coming into the fall. But why isn't it happening from at the moment? Is it just too hot out there?
You know, I feel with the Megane, he's a one-man band with the support of, obviously, Renault South Africa and Big Boss. But when you're trying to develop one car and you've got no teammate to lean on, it is very difficult to get any kind of perspective going. When you've got a teammate, you've got something else to gauge it from. They might find something in car number 2. They've only got car number 1 to work with, so it's a slower progression as far as development goes on the vehicle.
So what you're saying is that he needs a banjo?
Yeah, he needs a wingman, that's That's what he needs. He needs to get himself out there and get another teammate, maybe one of the kids that he used to work with in the Polo Cup. Get out there, develop 2 vehicles. You've got better chance. You can throw things forward.
All right, Ferrari and the BMW 335, the F30s, they were launched last year in February. A global launch, not only with their race car, but also as the production cars on the showroom floor. Fantastic debut. But we're seeing the improvements right now. Humphrey's starting to drive the wheels off that thing.
He really is pinned. He's flying out there. It looks like he's got a very comfortable setup as we go on board with Graham Nathan. And we've got to talk about a few pointers here. This is right at the end of the day, the last race on the program. You can see the shadows are long, which means we're going to get shade on some parts of the track, which will cool the tires down, starts to rip the tires up. It's a 12-lapper, but also it's double points on the day for this race.
Absolutely. Here comes the Mini now. They've done a lot of upgrades. They've done a total rebuild in that car. They've put in a Motec engine harness into it. They've upgraded the electronics package, really trying to improve that car. It's the only car you also notice in the field that has a rear wing, and that's basically because of homologation.
This is Sunset, and this is Graham Nathan, and the back end has come out. And I'll tell you what, there won't be that many people on the tour that can actually hang on to the back end of the car. Certainly a front-wheel drive car when it hangs out that far. And we saw firsthand why that is called Sunset. But there's obviously some oil down there. You shouldn't just lose the back end like that. It's certainly not coming off the gas that hard on a front-wheel drive through there.
What I've also noticed, as you mentioned, the sun, it starts to hit you right just before you get to Goodyear, and then it just really is just blinding all the way through Clubhouse and Sunset. Oh, it's a nightmare.
That entire sector, and also sometimes when you go up onto the top there, here's a problem on the Mini. Lee Thompson, I heard a problem on that car before he went in there. I think he lost all power. You could hear it just went, just gassed out completely, and that's full yellows into the S's. Thompson is having a terrible day. You can actually see the strip of oil there as well. So that was Thompson's car that fully let go, and I think the engine seized up. But it is filthy going into the S's.
Yeah, you see the yellow flags waving. Who was that going wide? That was Bonafide. Couldn't get off.
You saw the flags. I don't think he saw it, but that was just completely off the brakes there. Lost the back end, lost the front end, and that is going to be a warning shot for everyone else out there. But Bonafide, again, having a dismal day. A lot of oil down on a very scary part of the track, though.
Well, as we see the yellows are waving, you see the other flag, which is red and yellow, which means that is a change of surface flag. Now, did the Mini go off because of his own oil, or was it somebody else?
From the sound of the engine from the onboard there, I've got to say it was a terminal problem with the Mini, as we are not even at the halfway marker. But the lap times aren't going to be there anymore, Steve. These guys will be half gas going into that section until they feel their way through. We've already seen that Michael Stephen is extremely brave in these conditions, so I expect to see him close in. You can see Gennaro Bonafide pulling into the pits there, so that is just the end of a very hard day for the youngster who stepped up.
The other interesting point to take note of, once again, we've had safety car come out. It helps these cars cool down somewhat. And look who's taking advantage of that right now. It is Humphrey in Team Afrox's BMW.
You know what? He's got a chance to save the day here as well, because obviously he had those problems in heat number 1, didn't score any points. Came good, got up into the top 5 in heat number 2, and now if he should get all the way to the front of this, the big showpiece, the 12-lapper, as you can see the first time going through there, and sideways action from Ferrari, if he should take the win in this, that is double points, and all of a sudden what started as a terrible day may end on a high.
Yeah, Michael Stephen had a little sniff right there, drawing up very, very close to Humphrey. But right now he's got the better line. But there's Priest, and that's the man he's got to get past right now. And I don't know whether Priest can hold on right now, because Humphrey, well, he will be wanting to have a sniff at this first position. There's no doubt about that.
Coming out of the top of the hill there, it sets up the big sweep. Ferrari is extremely strong getting on the gas, but the Audi just fires out that corner a little bit harder. But down the bottom and into the braking markers, Ferrari's Afrox BMW seems to really have the legs. And I think the pass is going to come down the main straight. He just, as soon as he clicks into third gear in a straight line, that BMW is a rocket ship.
Yeah, well, it would be fair to say that they've probably got straight line speed, a better straight line speed. Obviously, the all-wheel drive cars have got the better handling around the corners. That doesn't seem to be the case with the Fords at the moment. But still, our eyes are in focus right now on Melville Priest, under pressure from Ferrari into turn 14 as they come onto the straightaway. Michael Stephen is not that far away. Yeah. Look at the tyres. See how wide Priest went. I think he's going to lose this. Ferrari is on a charge. Look at him. This is going to be close.
I'm amazed that Ferrari is actually able to make this pass, because you could see he didn't get the drive coming out of the final turn, but he has just swept past under gas, and he seems to be one of those drivers into turn number 1 and the sweep at the bottom of the mine shaft where he doesn't lift off as early as the rest of the guys. he just slid through there as sweet as you like, and I think you're going to see him break away.
Well, the other thing is it also is going to encourage Michael Stephen right now, who's now in the same position that was free almost a quarter of a lap ago. He will see the weak spot now from Melville Priest, and he will also want to do something about this.
Stephen on for the overall on the day, and still it looks like we are racing in the mist of Cape Town, but actually we're on the high veld of Kyalami. There's just so much dust in the air from the braking markers, and I mean, if I can't see, the drivers can't see. You're staring straight into the sun, and Gavin Cronier goes for the big move up the inside, muscling his way through on the Ford of Dumini.
Yeah, Dumini's been keeping it very tidy out there, and here comes Jacques Jabert, the Stigler as well, to that Golf GTI 6. He'll also want to improve. Obviously, the Indy Oil team will obviously want a good run and get overall for the team. That will be a great advert for Volkswagen at the moment.
Big smoke and lockup, and Formato has had a problem there all day long. Just opens the door once again for Graham Nathan. That's happened, I think, 3 times today. Formato's got a big problem when he climbs on the brakes super hard. And what the story of this is, look at this. This is a Class T car coming through on the Class A car of Etienne van der Linden. Nice gentlemanly driving as well. Saw the battle coming, moved over, allowed both the guys to come through. But, you know, I think the E90 is starting to cry out because it's just not lasting in the big race.
7-12 gone, and it's Team Afrog's BMW ADF Motorsport. Donovan van Heerden will be hoping Johan Ferrari can carry this through to the end, double the points.
This is a scary pass. I wondered if that was actually going to hold Michael Stephen around the outside of Sunset, and we all know, Steve, there is absolutely no grip on the outside there, but who cares when you've got an all-wheel drive quattro? Michael Stephen certainly doesn't. Gets the move up the inside and forces Melville wide, and that's just playing into the team game. Chops has come out of nowhere. Those last 3 laps, Chops has been the fastest man on circuit.
Well, I had a feeling that this 2013 season would be about BMW and Audi. That competition, larger than life it is. Right now, BMW leading out 3 of those S4 supercharged Audis for now.
Yeah, it's a shame to see in the big race the Subaru wide-body 4-door of the fastest man out there in that team. Anyway, Groenewold just not able to hang the pace, and it's obviously an overheating situation for him.
Well, the BMWs, they've been working very, very hard all season on their intercoolers to try and keep them cool as well, because that's what an intercooler does. And so they've also done a lot of development and rebuilding of that Afrog's BMW.
Thanks, Steve. The clue was on the tin there, hey, the word cool.
Yeah.
Go back and pick up on the Class Ts, who are right in the mix. They've closed up on both the Subarus, and a huge smoke out there. There is no cement dust down. That was a Subaru limping around the track.
That was a problem for that, was that Subaru, was that Richard
That's
Pinard?
Groenewold. That's Groenewold. Groenewold is the man, the main man in the team, who has been up there running top 5s all day. He is the one limping around, so it's going to be up to Pinard to try and get the job done for the Subarus, but he's been left a long way back from the pack.
Well, 4 points is worth some points, that's for sure.
Look at this, Dyson. This is what we have seen all year. This is what we will see all year long. The Fords, and I'm so excited to Cape Town to see the new Fords come out there. Certainly they're going to bring a package that will go straight up against the might of the Golf 6 GTI, but also spare a thought for Michael van Rooyen. That Cruise has been a development vehicle. He is now putting the OPC engine in that thing, and I think we're going to see some ponies.
I think we will. I think that car is really great. Right now, it looks like a breakdown for the Ford. Was that Formato?
Yeah, I think it was Formato, and unfortunately, he is having big problems in the long race. We actually saw that last year and the year before that. When these cars get too hot, I know it is Formato because Dumini is coming up behind him with his flapping bonnet. So unfortunately, Formato is going to lose a ton of points in the championship. And this is where you lose a championship, in the big race. If you throw it all away in the 3rd heat of racing, that's double points. It's going to be so hard to recover those on the season.
You should be on stage, man. I love the way you get all ethereal on us. So, looking back at the championship for the double of points and Team Afrog's BMW.
Woohoo! We got drifting going on.
We do.
That means we have got absolutely nothing left on those tires, and the shadow, well, it's not even a shadow. The entire track is out of the sunshine, except when it's in your eyes.
Team Afrog's BMW doing the business today. 20 points. Johan Ferrari will be ecstatic if this stays the way it has. We were mentioning earlier on, and we didn't quite finish with Michael van Rooyen in the car, the Cruise. Hasn't had a really particularly great day. Better things for him in Cape Town, you think?
Again, one-man band, a lot of development, only one car out there, so you can only learn every single time you go out. If you had a teammate, which we probably will see, probably halfway through the season, we will see a bit more development. But the OPC engine going into that, which has claimed race victories in this category, that's going to be exciting.
Focus now on Class T, and there is a man who is possessed. Graham Nathan in the GTI 6. And in the picture, I'm sure very quickly, we're looking at a very sick Groenewold in the Subaru. But the other Golf 6, the sticklet, Jack Joubert, having a great day.
He really is, and that's the end of the day for the Subaru. So any chance of points has all gone away. You can see what Hennis Groenewold was trying to do. He was trying to stay out there, but the smoking out of the back of that thing had to pull him off right at the end of the race. The flag comes out, though. Ferrari takes it, so turned his day around completely and gets in just ahead of Michael Stephen, who will take the overall for the day.
What about Melville Priest? Podium position.
And look at the Class T's. Nathan has only been bettered once, and that was in heat number 2 by his young Stigler teammate. But championship points leader coming out of this round and taking the final win of the day is Nathan. He's done a great job and looks like one of the minis was able to recover.
And not a wet race at all. Great weather conditions, great track temperatures, and great world-class racing.
Results from the feature race then. Johan Ferrari takes the win. Michael Stephen in second. Melville Priest takes his third place. Richard Pinard gets jumped up to fourth. And Etienne van Linde in fifth. Chop Sapuka penalised for a jump start, only in sixth place.
Getting confirmation of Class T at the moment. Big day for GTIs. Graham Nathan wins it out, Gavin Cronje second, and Jack Joubert, the Stiglet, in third. A win in the main three-piece. Well done. I saw the jubilation when you climbed out of the car. You must be like absolutely so happy right now.
Yeah, no, I'm over the moon. Jesse, the Afrox BMW is running perfectly. ADF did a fantastic job. Just after the second heat, if you would have asked me, I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, I try to keep motivated, but everything just seemed to go wrong because pre-season testing went well. Yesterday seemed to go really well, and then today, qualifying we were there. And the first race, we had a water pipe came off, and I went off on my own water. And then we were stuck in traffic, and the car overheated in race 2. So we had some issues. But then, yeah, we saved our new tyres for the last race, and we just seemed to have the grip in the race to pass the guys, made the pass at the right places, and luckily the safety car came out to save us a bit because the engine was running hot again, 125. So the safety car came back out, we cooled it down, and then at first 2 laps I knew it was all about then because as soon as the turbo gets hot, we're going to lose the power again. So I hate to make my passes in that first 2 laps. So I was ready when the safety car went in and made the passes, and it seems like Michael was catching me towards the end, but I could hold him off, and yeah, luckily we finished. So I'm over the moon, and it's a great one for BMW, and I think we're back in it after the feature point, the double race point, so I'm happy.
You must be at least gratified to end the day the way you have.
Yeah, the car's been there the whole day, you know, so we've been a bit disappointed. The second race we had a delamination of the tyre, you know, we were lying second, so that was good. First race we were again lying second on the restart. The other cars are just too fast in a straight line for the Audi, you know. We've got superior cornering ability, but in a straight line, so on the start, they ate me alive, you know. So it's an unlucky day, I think. The car's good, you know, it's tweaking from here on.
The Golf GTI is certainly the car to beat. Jacques Joubert also having a great time. But double the points. It's a great result for you, but you had to work hard for it.
I did indeed. Gary had a great last race. We were both pushing really, really hard. But as you've just said, the GTI 6 has just done the business. Indy Oil, Centro, thank you very much. Nothing more we can say. Jacques Joubert, great job by the young man. First and second at the first time out at Kyalami, or the first time out in 2013. What more can we ask for? A great job by the team. Dean Jeffrey, Oman Joubert, everybody that gets involved, thank you very much. Even my new youngster, Chris, thanks a lot, bud.
Coming out of round number 1 then, heading into round number 2 at the Kyalami race circuit in Cape Town. Michael Stephen leads on points in Class A ahead of Ferrari and Sapuka.
Confirmation of those point standing results. Graham Nathan in Class T37, Gavin Cronje in second, and Jack Joubert going into Cape Town in third. For more information of our racing series, www.spcc.co.za for more info. The gauntlet is down as round number 1 comes to an end. There is already catching up to do for some, while others in the pack have broken away, but it's early days yet. The ADF Motorsport team will be working double time to rebuild Etienne van der Linde's BMW. VMP Motorsport will have to turn some screws to get Bonafide back on pace, and if Melville and his team can overcome some handling issues, he will certainly be in the running. Not to forget the new Subarus looking to flex their muscles in the next round. Class T cars seem to be on pace straight away, and the competition is tough. Our next round moves to Cape Town on the 16th of March, and we look forward to seeing new cars rearing their heads. I'm Steve Bishop with Matt Smith. Till next time, this is World Class Racing. Bridgestone Production Cars.